Good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Linda Brown, and today my topic is on Eli, the prophet and the judge. And so, what I wanted to just open up with is to just give you an overview of his character and the research that I've done about who he was. And so, I'm just going to go ahead and begin with who Elijah was. I'm sorry, not Elijah. Who is Eli, and what was his mistakes, his weaknesses, and what lessons we can learn from his life, and some key verses um, that is familiar regarding who he is. So I'm gonna just go on. At first, wanted to discuss um, how did he become a priest and how did he become a judge. So in my research, in the Bible, the story of Eli, of how he became a priest, um, is mentioned in the first book of Samuel, and Eli served as both a priest and a judge during the time of the Israelites' settlement in the Promised Land. According to the Bible narrative, Eli was a descendant of Aaron, and he belonged to the priestly lineage of the tribe of Levi. The role of a judge in the ancient Israel was not strictly hereditary or based on a formal appointment. So his position wasn't like um, it wasn't hereditary, like the text said, and it wasn't based on a formal appointment. Instead, they were emerged as a charismatic leader, and was recognized for their wisdom and their righteousness and their ability to arbitrate and dispute among the people. So, in the case of Eli, the Bible recounts that he became a judge in Israel during the period when the Israelites were governed by the judges before the established monarchy, before the kings and all had came into place. They had the judges at that period. So that's the overview about how he became a priest and how he became a judge. Um, he first appeared in First Samuel 1:9 through 18, and that was where he mistakes Hannah as being or fervent or praying as being drunk, which that wasn't the case. Hannah was having a petition that she went to God for, and she was in sorrow, she was hurting, she was in pain, and so Eli, and she had asked Eli, and she had corrected Eli, and explained to him that she wasn't drunk, that she was a woman of God, and she was just wanted telling him her petition to God and her pain. So I was doing some research more, and I came across J.C. Franklin and Barry and John D. Barry in the Lexington Bible Dictionary, and they were saying in that particular research that Eli was considered a cynical leader. One of Eli's possible roles in 1 and 2, First and Second Samuel, was to establish a cycle of destructive leader. Although Eli appeared in only a small portion of Samuel narrative, his actions affected several generations. Eli's inability to discipline his sons led to corruptions that was abominable before the Lord. And his son was Hophni and Phinehas, and so they were unworthy to take Eli's place. And God called, and later on in the story, God revealed to that He was going to raise someone else up, and so which was Samuel, which was under Eli's tutelage. So let me just move on because the time is moving by. So Eli strengths and accomplishments. I do want to cover that. He judged Israel for 40 years. He spoke with Hannah, the mother of Samuel, assured her of God's blessings. His weaknesses and mistakes is he displayed. Um, let me see. In his weaknesses, he didn't. Mm, what's going on? His the lessons that we can learn. Oh, sorry, his weaknesses was. Let me look in this here scripture. I do have it here. He was unable to lead his sons into a close relationship with God. And the lessons that we can learn from Eli's life is this: parents need to discipline their children responsibly. Life is more than simple reacting. It demands actions, and past victories can not substitute the present trust. So the story where all this the background can be found in First Samuel and Second Samuel. Um, so he was where was he located? He was the high priest. This is vital statistics. He was the high priest in Shiloh. His occupation, of course, we know was a priest and a judge of Israel. His relatives was his two sons, and his contemporary is Samuel. The key verses there is First Samuel 3, 11 through 14, and his story can be told in First Samuel 1 through 4. He is also mentioned in First Kings 2, 26 and 27. And Hannah's story is it covers where it's three main key passages in here that I wanted to touch on. First Samuel 1, 9 through 18. That could be read and covered that story about Hannah. And then the Lord rejects Eli's household in First Samuel 2, 27 through 36. And that covers why his leadership wasn't, and right, right in the eyesight of God. And the death of Eli, it's covered in First Samuel 4 through 12 through 18, 4:12 through 18. Um, so Eli, he was 98 years old, and when he heard about the bad news, um, that the Ark of the Covenant was stolen, and this is in that passage, the last piece about the death where he had died, and it says that he lived. It says now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were set so that he could not see. And the man said to Eli, "I am he who has come from the battle, and I fled from the battle today." And he said, "How did it go?" And my son, and he brought the news and answered and said that Israel had fled before the Philistines, and there has also been a great defeat among the people. And your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the Ark of the Covenant has been captured. And what really got me was this last verse. As soon as they mentioned the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of God, Eli fell backward from his seat by the side of the gate, and his neck was broken, and he died. For the man was heavy and old. So I just want to sum it up. This is some good passages that will cover it all. It's a lot to cover in this short period of time, but um, the story of Eli was, it was just to show the type of leader he was and the lessons that we can learn from his leadership. So just, you get a chance to read the story and just go through it, and you will be blessed.